A winter morning, the cutting cold wind blew along the narrow street of the city. At the corner, a homeless man sat huddled on the freezing cement ground, his old coat not enough to shield him from the cold. In his hand was a cheap cup of coffee bought with the loose change he gathered last night. That was the only warmth he had. As he was lifting the cup to take a sip, a passerby hurriedly dropped a coin into it. Surprised, he frowned, reached into the cup, and took out the soaked coin. He chuckled softly, wiped it on his sleeve, and put it into his pocket. A small coin, but to him, it was a gift. At noon, he stepped into a familiar coffee shop, where the owner was a young black man with a warm smile. He poured all the coins in his pocket onto the counter, just enough to buy a cup of hot cocoa. When he received the cocoa, his eyes unintentionally rested on the pastry counter. His stomach growled with hunger, but when he searched his coat pocket, only 2 coins remained. Not enough. He quietly turned away. "Hey, wait," the shop owner's voice called out. When he turned back, a bag of pastries was already on the counter. "Just 1 coin," the owner said, winking. The homeless man was stunned. He placed the coin down, his hand trembling as he picked up the bag. When he opened it, inside, along with the pastries, was a small note. "Have a good day." From that day on, he often returned to the cafe, not just to buy cocoa or pastries, but to talk. Many other homeless people also found their way there, receiving help while giving back by fixing a broken chair, sweeping the floor, or simply keeping company. In that little cafe, there was no discrimination, only people with one another. As time went by, hardship struck. The cafe grew empty, expenses piled up. At last, on a winter night, the owner had to close the doors. He stacked each table, swept the floor, then pulled the heavy iron shutter down with a heavy heart. At that very moment, a hand stopped him. He turned his head and saw his familiar homeless friend. The man quietly placed into the cafe owner's hand a handful of coins and a few crumpled bills. Before the owner could react, many other figures appeared. Faces he had seen before, those who had once sat in the corners of his cafe. One by one, they took out their spare coins, their meager bills, and laid them on the table. The owner was speechless, his eyes brimming with tears. He realized what he had once given away had now returned to him in a far greater way than ever before.